All right. Well, hey, everybody. Hamilton in the morning, WNBC, 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 WNBC. How's everybody doing today? So we've all been following this thing, the Twitter files and Elmo Musk and all that. Why is my phone opened up to freaking Walmart? Oh, because of the text there. Because of the freaking text about a prescription. Okay. Well, anyway, that's another story. So yeah. So we've all been finding the Elmo Husk files. Matt Taibbi. Now, why I'm doing this stream is because I was listening to Jeremy the Quartering last night, and I got really nothing against him. But here is, I took issue with several things. Now, he kept going on and on about this is a big deal. This is like Watergate. This is like, oh, wow, this is the biggest thing since Watergate. And Jeremy, God bless him, he's too young to remember Watergate. And he's really too young to even know what Watergate was about. He remembers Whitewater, the whole Vince Foster thing, which became a cottage industry of hating Hillary Clinton. But he said to him, he said to him, no, that's wrong. He said that he would welcome anybody on his stream, on his show. Is it a show? I really don't think it's a podcast, whatever you want to call it, who didn't think this is a big deal. Now, I'm one of those people who thinks that this is not a big deal, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. First, I'd like to preface this by saying that to say that this is an impeachable offense by the Bidens, to say that this is somehow worse than Watergate, to say that this is the crime of the century is, in my opinion, 100% incorrect. Now, why do I say that? Now, Watergate, you have to understand. Watergate, why is it called Watergate? Now, we like to throw around the thing gate for everything. Pizzagate, Comicsgate, Twittergate, right? Whatever gate. But the reason why it's called Watergate, for those who are uninitiated, for those listening overseas, may not be familiar with American history, American politics, it's because of where the crime was committed. Operatives from the Nixon campaign broke into the Democratic National Committee's headquarters inside the Watergate Hotel in Washington, D.C., which is still there. They broke inside. There's that scene in Forrest Gump. This front desk, there's some fellas keeping me up right now. They got flashlights. They're all poking around. Hey, maybe want to send somebody to go look in on them. They're having trouble finding something or whatever it was. Now, here's the thing: to be an impeachable offense, that there has to be a crime that's committed while in the White House. Every legal expert in the Constitution, who's versed in the Constitution, will tell you that there has to be a crime committed while they're in the White House. You can't impeach someone for a crime they may have committed in the past. Because that's not impeachable. It's not impeachable. It's not an impeachable offense. And you have to have evidence of a crime. Nixon, when it came down to it, Nixon had directed a break-in at the Watergate Hotel. Breaking and entering conspiracy. And, effective immediately, I will resign from the presidency at noon tomorrow. That whole thing. I am not a crook. Now, for those who say, well, but Biden was vice president. He was vice president in 2020. He was vice president in 2020. The Biden administration made Twitter ban Alex Berenson. I'm going to look into that. Alex Berenson, because I have no idea who this guy Alex Berenson is. He's an American
doctor.
No. Let me see. Biden ban. Let me see.
And who cares?
Problem vaccine skeptic returns to Twitter.
Yeah, he's that doctor. What?
Did the government pressure Twitter to curtail speech? Last month, COVID vaccine skeptic Alex Berenson was allowed back on Twitter after being permanently suspended for allegedly violating the platform's COVID. Remarkably, Twitter acknowledged that his tweets should not have led to his suspension. Now, internal Berenson revealed that the Biden administration likely. Hold on, wait. I'm reading on this. But what does this have to do with? What is this? I mean, listen. Okay, you know what? To this I say, listen. First of all, why are you spreading porn bots in my chat? Nobody's watching. Of all the people to spread porn bots, and really? Okay, first of all, believe it or not, there is no such thing currently as free speech absolutism. You can be arrested for things like inciting riots, making threats. Okay, if you go into a crowd, the popular one is that you can't just go into a crowded movie theater and yell fire. Okay, and if you yell fire, there's better damn well be a fire. You can't go into a crowded movie theater and say fire, and then when I say, hey, what are you doing? You say right, free speech, free speech, free speech. Let me turn the camera on because it'll look fun. That'll look funnier. When you yell fire at a crowded movie theater and they arrest you for inciting a riot, you go, I have free speech, free speech.
I got a question though. How does them censoring some guy's stupid opinion on COVID? Like, what does that prove collusion with China,
now,
Ukraine,
listen,
Russia? What does that do with?
We're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Another nothing burger. Who cares? Like, who cares if some guy got suspended?
We're getting to that. And you said that you were
I know.
Interject.
It wasn't until they started moving goalposts with this stuff.
Biden administration is likely to play a pivotal role in suspension. As a Twitter employee reported, the company's internal Slack messaging system, the company faced one really tough question about Alex Berenson has been kicked off the platform. In April 2021, House meeting under another employee reported Andy Slavitt, senior advisor to President's COVID response team, claimed they had seen evidence indicating that Berenson was the epicenter of disinformation that radiated outwards to the persuadable public. Okay, now here we have a guy who's deliberately spreading COVID misinformation. COVID misinformation that could land people in the hospital or get them really sick, or even possibly get people end up dead. And so it's not that cut and dry. In the summer of 2021, the federal government repeatedly pressured social media platforms to ramp up efforts to crack down on COVID misinformation. So we have a situation where public safety is involved. So it's not that cut and dry here. On July 2016, Biden claimed social media companies were killing people by failing to censor COVID misinformation. A few hours after the comment, Twitter suspended Berensen's account for the first time. The next month, Twitter banned him after he tweeted about the vaccine's inability to stop transmission and infection over the long term and its side effect profile. Berenson, who now plans to sue the White House after his recent legal success against Twitter, is the most prominent victim of social media companies' heavy-handed policies. But many distinguished scientists with far less public and financial support have faced similar fates. Who? Tracy Beth Hogue, consultant epidemiologist for Florida's Department of Health, has faced sanctions for warning about post-vaccine myocarditis. Listen, you have people that are spreading misinformation. They are spreading misinformation. Okay, there is actually myocarditis. It's been shown. There's been studies done. Myocarditis has been shown to be more prominent in people who aren't vaccinated than are. So there's the thing. Hey, Razvan, how you doing? Because Twitter acting as a government actor. Twitter is still a private company. We're getting to this. Twitter is a private company. Twitter is not the government. Since when is Twitter fallen under? Listen, it's twitter.com, not twitter.gov. Twitter's an act. Okay. It is twitter.com, not twitter.gov. Rob's about to lose his shitty leftist marbles. Oh, we're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Rob, you're not really a leftist, though.
I'm not really a leftist. I'm probably what you would call closer to an FDR Democrat, okay? I really am. I'm what we call an FDR Democrat, okay? I believe that government is a great tool of the people. Okay. Twitter was being used by the government. Okay, it was being used by the government, or did officials from the government say, you know what? Okay, listen, here's the thing. And I'm glad we got to that already. Here's the thing. Everybody in the Twitter profile, everyone in this Twitter following this Twitter files thing, although some sources recalled hearing about a general warning from the federal law enforcement that summer about possible foreign hacks, there's no evidence that I've seen of any government involvement in the laptop story. In fact, that might have been the problem. And who's the guy? That tape. He's got a close of a Billy. Who's that? Billy Martin. Number one. Who's that? Willie Mays. Both sides of the political spectrum complain about Twitter's influence, yet sing its praises when it goes their way. Well, that's only human nature. But here's the thing. What are we really upset about? Are we upset about that somebody from the Biden campaign, not administration, he was not president in 2020? Does anybody actually know when a presidential term begins? It begins January 20th, 2021. You aren't put in office on the 20th, the day after the election. So here's the thing. The Biden campaign, yes, okay, the Biden campaign did ask them to take it down, okay? But what they asked them to take down were the Hunter Biden nudes. And that was even reported on. Hey, get those off of those. Those actually violate the terms of service, and in many states are a felony misdemeanor for posting revenge porn. But now what we see is a constant moving of the goalpost. Well, Twitter was suppressing free speech. Twitter violated the First Amendment, did they? First Amendment Twitter is not the government. That is the whole thing. Twitter is not the government.
I kind of wish my mom wouldn't have heard people saying that she would get killed in the hospital if she wasn't vaccinated.
You're upset that the biggest social platform and propaganda tool is no longer yours. No, it's no longer mine. It never was mine.
Can I say something? I'm kind of, you know what? I'm not upset that the guys who were telling my mom to not go to the hospital because she would be murdered in the hospital for not being vaccinated. I'm not really upset that those guys got banned from Twitter. I'm really, really not. And, they're free to say stupid crap, but at the same time, I mean, where's my recourse to sue people who my mom listened to, who were incorrect? Where's my recourse for that? I mean, you guys forget, you guys keep moving the goalposts. So how does this lower inflation? How does this go after the stuff I actually care about? It really doesn't.
Listen, and I hate to lay this on Elon Musk. Elon Musk bought a failing platform. Okay. If this were really a story, Matt Taibbi would have revealed it on his Substack, but no, he signed a deal with Elon Musk to reveal it there.
I think it's a stress test to see how much traffic Twitter can hold.
I don't think so. I think this is a stunt by him to increase traffic. Again, the whole thing about free speech. Congress shall make no law abridging regarding free speech, abridging the exercise thereof. Congress, not Twitter. Congress. Joe Biden was campaigning to be president. He was not vice president. He was not part of the government. And as we see now, was this about? Well, Hunter Biden's laptop. They're trying to suppress Hunter Biden's laptop. They're trying to suppress Hunter Biden's laptop. So the laptop is by far the secondary issue. The real problem is the FBI stepping in to cut distribution of a true story. So we're moving the goalposts. Can someone quickly explain what is supposed to be so damning and about the non-tampered files? And we're getting to the point now where it's just the persistent moving of the goalposts to anything. As far as the FBI is concerned, Baker was working for Twitter. Musk fires XX. That's the ex-FBI official from Twitter. Twitter Inc. CEO Elon Musk on Tuesday revealed that James Baker, Twitter's deputy counsel and former FBI general counsel, was exited from the company earlier in the day, APA reports, Teletrader. Musk pointed out that the decision to fire Baker was made in light of concerns of his possible role in suppression of possible. Notice the wording, possible role in suppression, possible. Important to the public dialogue. Okay, but again, if we're gonna make claims about free speech, who determines what speech? Are we putting that speech in the hands of Elon Musk now? I mean, and how long is it going to be before he suppresses something that is harmful to him? Go ahead, try calling him a name. Try to say Elon Musk. Try calling him Elmo Husk. Try it. Try calling him Elmo on Twitter. He's apparently very thin-skinned. So yeah. I mean, so listen, the emperor really does. He already did. Kathy Griffin, even though I despise her, it's not free speech. It's free Twitter. That's exactly. Baker scrubbed involvement of the FBI before the files got to Taibbi. At whose request? Again, he was working for Twitter, not the government. Former FBI. Working for Twitter. Twitter is not the fifth branch of the government. Despite what you want to say. And again, we're defending Elon Musk. I know there's this thinking Elon Musk is out to save free speech. Yeah, man, like Elon. But you know what? Twitter bans Sarah Silverman, Kathy Griffin parroting alleged comedy lover Elon Musk. Okay? So apparently he's very thin-skinned. This is the guy you want determining what makes it into the public discourse and what doesn't. This whole idea that Twitter is the town square is BS. Is absolutely BS, and here's why. Because ultimately, it's corporatized speech. It's corporatized speech in that someone, namely Elon Musk, is determining what is free speech and what isn't. If it's truly the town square, like they have in the UK, Speaker's Corner, anybody would have free speech. As long as, you don't get up saying, I love Hitler. And even that, you could probably do. Former means very little when dealing with the FBI, the CIA, and ONI. The left sued to stop Trump from blocking people claiming Twitter was the town square. Who did they sue? Who did they sue? Who did they sue? Who did they sue? Twitter is a town square, but not the town square. If you're not on my side, you must be the other side. Therefore, you're labeled as left or right. What happened to being between free thinking? Well, the whole thing about free thinking is a lot of people don't like free thinking because then you start making decisions. There's that old saying that reality has a liberal bias. But the other thing about this too is, now listen, here's the other thing. What's happened since 1992 is there's been a cottage industry of hating Hillary Clinton on the right. Now, I'm no fan of Hillary Clinton. I think Hillary Clinton she's a vile human being. She really should. Hopefully she goes away. She doesn't do it. But that's she's a terrible corporate Democrat. This whole neoliberal BS and whatever. Okay, fine. You know what? Hopefully we'll get rid of her. But at the same time, the whole thing, Vince Foster, Ken Starr, Whitewater, the whole thing, they tried to pin something. We're seeing an extension of all of that now. And I was fortunately old enough to really remember and really start taking. That's when I first started paying attention to this kind of stuff. But we're seeing now in real time unfolding is the cottage industry of hatred for Hillary Clinton now get shifted to Joe Biden. And we're seeing a party, and a lot of people aren't going to like hearing this, who has no agenda, no policy agenda. And I think other part of this is Elon Musk is very upset because he gets on the internet. I'm urging everyone to vote Republican. I'm urging to vote like not the other end of that is I'm urging everyone to vote Republican so I can save a ton of money on my taxes. That's the other part of this. He was absolutely hoping to sway this election for his own benefit, in my opinion. That's what this all comes down to. This isn't about free speech. This isn't about the town square. This isn't about open dialogue. To him, this is about what serves him best, what serves his interest. And he has decided to throw himself in with a party that has no agenda, that is actually dying. The modern Republican Party is dying before our eyes. And they are quickly just throwing dirt on themselves. They're throwing dirt on the corpse. I mean, look how quickly, look how quickly the public discourse has shifted from COVID to groomers, to drag shows, to Elon Musk, to free speech, to Hunter Biden's laptop, and it's going to come back full circle. This is a party with no legislative agenda. The only thing they're concerned with are investigations and taking things away. Now, I'm sure there's going to be an investigation into this in the House because you know why? Because it obfuscates any responsibility people have to actually govern. Governing is hard. Policy is hard. Hunter Biden's laptop? Oh, that's easy. Twitter? Oh, that's easy. We just send out a couple tweets. We don't actually have to do anything.
Call everybody a leftist who you disagree with.
Call people the leftist, Marxist, social communist, pinko, commie, whatever. Really, do you realize how much you sound like Archie Bunker? No, seriously. I was hearing this shit on Archie Bunker back in the 70s when I was a kid. I'm like, my God, we've gone full circle.
We got Satanic Panic back. They're bringing back the gays are turning your kids gay.
Gays are grooming. Gays are grooming people. Gays are grooming. You know, I saw the same shit on Archie Bunker in the 70s. Everything old is new again.
Satanic Panic's back.
Satanic Panic. Communism, socialism, Marxism. Where are the Marxists? Point to a map. Show me where the Marxists are. You wouldn't know Carl from Groucho. Elon just made a deal with Amazon to make money with advertising with $100 million a year. Corporatized speech. Corporatized speech.
I've got more ads now.
Razvan, I'm a Marxist? I'm a Marxist? Since when? Marxist. I'm a Marxist? I tell you what.
That's what I said. You guys have these NBC talking points.
You know, they're using the Marxism to divide people. Divide people? Really? Marxism? Workers of the world unite? That's really a divisive message?
I say they're using NPC talking points to divide people, to convince everybody who disagrees slightly that the other person's a leftist. Isn't that a little more accurate? I think that's more accurate. That they're using all of this bullshit to divide everybody into who's the hardest Christian.
Is it true that I got my filling on, or is it this one?
I don't remember.
Where's the filling?
I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
Ukraine is a money laundering scam.
Well, it's a money funneling.
It's money, though. They're funneling money to the Ukraine.
It's a proxy war. So
it's a proxy war. Listen, it's a proxy war. It's a proxy war. I mean, people profited from war since the beginning of time, okay? I'm sure that the sword makers were very happy when the Roman legions went into empathy, compassion for the little person. That is your crime. Well, isn't one of the tenets of Jesus? Even Jesus said, sell your possessions, give them to the poor. You know, care for the sojourners. Welcome them into your home.
There's even value in those filthy Samaritans. They're horrible people.
The Marxists, listen, there are no Marxists anymore. There aren't any Marxists anymore.
It's a label. It's a buzzword they use to describe these little Antifa punks.
Well, the people they say are Antifa are the Black Bloc. Actually, the Black Bloc protesters, which rose out of Germany in the 70s. But the whole point about this is, listen, you say, oh, free speech. You're going to put free speech into this guy's hands? Really? Really?
Kanye couldn't even tweet an alien spaceship reference because Elon fucking Musk thought it was a Nazi thing. Boo-hoo, Elon fucking Musk's feelings got me.
Mr. MH, just because Rob thinks differently does not mean he's a Marxist. Just like, well, I do love Ducks. I do love the movie Duck Soup. You're fucking retarded. You're no Marxists anymore? No, there aren't Marxists anymore. And if they are, not in the true sense, Marxism, small-scale agriculture, and the government controlling the means of production.
They're more anarchists. They're the kids who want to fuck up everything by
morons use that word to sound big as a weapon. They have no idea what they're saying. Methodology the left uses similar to the communists and the Nazis.
Marxism has been a good buzzword that people recite back because Mark Dice says it.
So Rob thinks Ukraine started the war. No, I didn't say that Ukraine started the war.
God. More of this putting words in people's mouths shit? Are we?
Where did I say that?
No putting words in people's mouths.
I said war has been profitable since the beginning of time. Even the Roman legions, even the sword makers and the blacksmiths were probably very happy they were going to make a profit.
Okay, can I butt in for 1 second?
Commies and Nazis are both socialists. No, they're not. No.
Can I butt in?
Okay, hold on. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem we have. There's socialism. Listen, I've been, believe it or not, I've been to 4 socialist countries. Technically socialist countries. I've been to Norway. I've been to Denmark. I've been to Sweden. And technically, the UK is a socialist country, but not really. I mean, they do have social things. They have the National Health Service, which I would give my left testicle for. But the whole thing about the socialism, about the Nazis, it was a branding thing. Hey, we'll call ourselves the National Socialist Party. That was to make it more palatable to the masses. Of course, there's a big lie. I mean, listen, they opened the pro health camps, the KDF movement, strength through joy, promoting, great national health service. They promoted a lot of that stuff. It was all a big lie. It was all to sell people to disguise what they were actually really doing. The KDF, like I said, the KDF movement was at the center of it. It was to keep people focused on, hey, yeah, they're actually doing some good. Nope, they're really not. See ya. Kraft Dirk Freuden. Russia, Ukraine are bad guys, Alex. Brandings for political reasons and publicity. Northern countries are not socialists, you goofball. They're social democracies is what they are. They're social democracies. They have capitalism, and they have a strong social safety net. But at the same time, listen, the whole thing about we're getting off topic. The whole thing about free speech, again, you want to make the free speech argument, go right ahead. You don't trust the government, fine. But you know what? You trust this guy? This guy. This guy's going to be the guardian of free speech?
He tortures monkeys. Fuck Elon Musk.
Why is Russia the bad guy? I learned that Matloff Heatlump was vegan. Nothing relevant, but I hope it made someone laugh.
Russia's the bad guy because they invaded Ukraine.
Russia started the conflict.
Yeah, they started the conflict. However,
the Ukraine is just another victim in the world politics of NATO and EU countries. Listen, we shouldn't be expanding. I agree. We shouldn't be expanding NATO to Russia's doorstep. We do need that buffer to give them. Okay. Fortunately, Ukraine is not going to be part of NATO. Fortunately, I hope at least.
I just want to know how Hunter Biden's laptop's going to lower gas prices and inflation.
But this is But my whole take on it is this is another distraction. That's all this is. To get this, all this is because one political party in Washington, what was Baker's motive for scrubbing the files? If it was clear not what Elon wanted and fired him for it. Well, you'd have to ask him. I don't know what until he talks. That's what Actually, America started bio-drug labs in Ukraine. Oh, we're gonna start with that. The bio labs.
Well, they have those everywhere, though. They've got those in Wuhan.
You do realize, the bio labs. Okay, listen. You do realize that Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union had bio labs in there already. What we're doing is we are securing those labs so that smallpox doesn't break out of them and fall into the hands of a terrorist like Al Qaeda. That's part of it. That is part of it. Keep talking about my country, Romania, as a buffer.
Al Qaeda is still and Al Qaeda are still allowed on Twitter. If Elon Musk cared so damn much and were that virtuous, why is ISIS and Al Qaeda still on Twitter?
Okay, well,
that's another. No, really, that's what I want to know.
They've been warned multiple times. 2011, EU, NATO has been sticking their nose in the affairs of Ukraine, though we as Dutch referendum voted against precisely for the reasons. My whole problem is when you say you don't trust the government, okay, fine. Okay, fine. You know what? Listen, agree. You get the government you vote for, okay? But you're going to trust him with free speech? Something has to take its place. And again, this whole thing is a distraction. That's my take on it.
Well, look how many talking points people come in.
The goalposts are constantly shifting. And if it's not this, it's going to be something else. It's going to be, well, even Tim Pool said it last night. He read something, he read a statement. Do you believe there's government involvement? No. But any sane person could see that. I'm like, so okay, so it's any sane person. You just said no. Oh yeah, but any sane person. I'm like, what? For some reason, Russia is allowed to stick its nose everywhere. Well, you know what? The 2014 Olympics in Sochi and the World Cup in 2018 in Russia, that was to all appease Putin. That was to appease Putin. Rob, something has to take its place. Told you, leftists have no method, just good ideas for the word method. What's a method? That's got to be a spelling area. Good ideas for the world. Again, though, like I said, you're free to disagree with me. I don't hold anybody against it if they disagree with me. But again, we're seeing something unfold in real time that I think doesn't have a lot of merit to it. The 36 Munich Olympics, yes, we're essentially to appease Hitler. I like that bit with Jimmy Kimmel. You know, a lot of kids don't know in olden times, Jesse Owens beat Hitler to win golden medal. Now, Hitler was fast, but Jesse Owens ran right on by. Actually, like FIFA and the IOC have said, actually, it's easier to deal with a strongman. I probably should be doing this on my American Robot channel, but I don't have streaming privileges on there yet. My American Robot channel. So Russia is a good conqueror. NATO is bad conqueror. No, neither. No. Obviously, there's a need for NATO. There's a need for NATO, but Russia is not. There's not a good. There's problems with NATO, but there are a lot of problems with Russia and with Putin. Russia was always one of those places that I wanted to visit, but until things change, I'm not going to be going there anytime soon. As now, we have media in the West freaking out over the anti-LGBTQ stance of Qatar. It's freaking a Muslim country. Besides, there were more horrible things going on there. Yeah. Why are we talking about Russia and Ukraine? Ukraine girls really knocked me out. Yeah, glad I don't live in Russia. For Mecca, what's the name of the other YouTuber lady that was kicked out off with you out of the fan the Menace Geeks and Gamers? Her name starts with a J. Yeah.
Jesse?
Oh, Jesse Milestone? Is that Jesse Milestone? I think so. I think it's Jesse Milestone. Well, part of this is don't take anything personally. Okay.
I sent you some articles on that. Did you read those yet?
Yeah. No, I didn't read.
Yeah, this might be more. This is
breaking. Elon Musk confirmed data to just reveals how firing of James Baker cut out intercepted files before they were sent to Matt Taibbi. Again, you'd have to ask James Baker what he was doing. I didn't get those files. I didn't get those stories. But again, this whole problem. She was the other idiot besides Rob who said Nazis are not socialists. They branded themselves as socialists to make the movement more palatable.
Maybe you'll have to argue with, Jewish Jessie Milestone on what she said about Nazis and Jews. Because I don't know what she said.
Again, they brand themselves the National Socialist Party because it was a branding exercise.
Just as they brand me a leftist, even though
it was to better get people on board with their agenda. Hey, we're gonna provide for you this, we're gonna provide that. Hey, these guys aren't too bad. Nope, see you later. Haha, suckers. It's not a brand. God Almighty. It was a name. It was a name that was palatable to the public. They are not.
Jack and Vincent.
The left plays to win. The right just plays. Yeah,
With their balls.
with their balls.
Sorry. I'm not a leftist though.
Razvan, it's a brand of socialism.
Again, how's going after Hunter Biden?
I mean, but listen, is
really, like, that's what I want to know.
I mean, it's technically it's the Democratic National Republic of Korea, not North Korea. Are they a democracy? Nazi was supposed to be the Workers' Socialist Party, and that's yes. I mean, listen, you're free to disagree with me. I don't hold it against anybody. Okay? Hey, we're not going to agree. We're not always going to agree. All right. Techie Mantis, hey, sleep well, my man. He hasn't been feeling well. Oh, let's hope you wake up, have a nice big greasy fry up, feel better. NSDAP, Nationalist Socialist Deutsche Albert, National Socialist Labor Party, yeah. They wouldn't get very far if they're the National Totalitarian Dictatorial Party.
They can't admit they're fascist.
But again, like I keep saying, though, need to buy a Popeyes chicken sandwich. But this whole thing, I'm like, I don't, and you're going to see, and if this turns out to be people start to realize that nothing's going to come of this, you're going to see people turn on Elon Musk as well.
Oh, they've been turning on.
Yeah, and they've been turning on. The big hope was that Trump was going to come back, because this is all just a gigantic troll job. This is just all a gigantic troll job. Troll job. I am brainwashed. Well, I prefer brain dry cleaned. I got 12 people watching here. Thank you for spending a little time with me. All right, I repeat, I do not see Elon as guarding free speech, but his Twitter is better than old commie one. Well, from what I've heard, Jack Dorsey was really just a hands-off owner. Honestly, I don't think he knows really what to do with the platform. I really don't. And I think this is a stunt. In my opinion, this is a stunt to drive more traffic to the website. Because Matt Taibbi, again, he could have revealed this on his Substack, but he didn't. So.
Well, you also want to put it where it's going to get the most views.
Well, they did have these huge government-funded programs to promote labor, like building freeways, much like Roosevelt's New Deal. It's Rob's opinion. He is free to have it as everyone else is. That's, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, FDR did a whole lot of things, and they called FDR, they called FDR every name in the book, socialist. They called him communist, whatever it is, but everything. But FDR, here's the thing, FDR, and I was listening to Richard Wolff about this. FDR had all these programs. He had a public works program, didn't have any money. He had all these going to build highways, didn't have any money. Going to build roads, didn't have any money. Build bridges, didn't have any money. All kinds of stuff, didn't have money. So he said to the wealthy at the time, he said, okay, I have all these plans and we need money for them. I'm going to tax you and you're going to give me a portion of this money and I'm going to let you keep the rest. And you know why you're going to give it to me? Because you see the communists over there? They're going to take it all. Roosevelt was a Freemason and searched for the Oak Island treasure. WW2 solved the crisis, but not the New Deal. It's like a Ponzi scheme. You need losers to pay. Ponzi scheme, in this case, losers were all citizens through the war effort. We were coming out of the Depression by the end of the 30s, but we weren't totally there. Yeah, the war did ramp up production. But again, like I keep saying, we're seeing the goalposts move now in real time. Oh, that's a cute little kitty cat. Is that catnip? He's mine.
It's food. It's food.
I really don't think there's a conspiracy here. I really don't. I think that this, again, we're seeing the cottage industry of certain people in the government. They are on their investigation for what? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez by the House Ethics Committee. So they're starting with their investigations earlier now. And I'm not paying for Forbes. I'm not paying for Forbes.
You can probably find another article of it.
Elon's concerned about Baker's possible role to suppress information. According to the public dialogue, he was exited from Twitter today. So it's not suppressing information, it's suppressing free speech. It's suppressing information important to public dialogue. 6 degrees of Jim Baker, familiar figure, emerges with releases Twitter files. Jonathan Turley. Jonathan Turley is who now? Jonathan Turley is who exactly? It's a little piece here, but it's below my column, New York Post, reemerged with James Baker, former FBI general counsel, as the center of the Twitter suppression scandal. Here's a column. Here's the column. There's thousands of Twitter documents were released. Let me put this up here. Hold on, let me see where we go. Is that? That's it. Thousands of Twitter documents are released on the company's infamous censorship program. Much has been confirmed about the use of back channels by Biden and Democratic officials to silence critics on the social media platform. However, one familiar name has popped up on the first batch of documents released. The journalist Matt Taibbi, James Baker. For many years, James Baker is becoming the Kevin Bacon of the Russian collusion scandal. Baker's been featured repeatedly in the Russian investigations launched by the Justice Department, including a hoax involving Russia Alpha Bank, when Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman wanted to plant the bizarre false claim to secret communications channels between Trump campaign and the Kremlin. Baker was his go-to speed dial contact. Baker would later testify at Sussman's trial. Baker also named appear prominently controversies of the Russian FBI related against he was effectively forced out due to his role. Reportedly found himself under criminal investigation. He became defender of the Russian investigations despite findings of biased, even criminal conduct. He was also a frequent target of Donald Trump's social media, including Twitter. Baker responded to public criticism of Trump for his false narratives. After leaving the FBI, Twitter seemed eager to hire Baker as deputy general counsel. Ironically, Baker soon became involved in another alleged back channel with a presidential campaign. This time, it was Twitter that maintained the non-public channels with the Biden campaign. Later, the White House. Baker soon weighed in on same signature bias characterizations. Russian investigations. Week before 2020 election campaign, New York Post ran an explosive story about a laptop abandoned by Hunter. And it comes back to the Hunter Biden laptop that contained emails and records dealing with multi-million-dollar influence peddling operation by the Biden family. It's the spoil system. That's what really has been going on for years. Not only was Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden's brother James, involved in deals with an array of dubious foreign figures, but Joe Biden was referenced as the possible recipient of funds from these deals. The Bidens had been long accused of influence peddling, nepotism, and other forms of corruption. Moreover, campaign was not denying the laptop was Hunter Biden's and key emails could be confirmed and other parties involved. However, at the request of the Biden team, Democratic operatives Twitter moved to block the story. Even suspended those who tried to share allegations with others, including the White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, who was suspended for linking to the scandal. Even inside Twitter, the move raised serious concerns over the company serving as the censor campaign. Global Comms, what?
Was Kayleigh McEnany literally trying to influence the election to sway her way by linking that while she was sitting press secretary?
Most likely.
All right, arrest her. We got to come after her. That's a crime. She's trying to interfere with the election as a member of the cabinet, of the president's cabinet.
Inside,
sitting president, he'll try to interfere with the election.
Even inside, the move raised serious concerns over the serving.
Isn't that more of a crime than anything Hunter did?
Because it certainly could be. Global Comms were asked if the company could truthfully claim this part of the policy, barring. Okay, this is how much longer. Baker quickly jumped to support censorship and said it's reasonable for us to assume they may have been hacked and that caution is warranted. Keep in mind there was never any evidence that this material. Oh, for fuck's sake. Keep in mind Baker assisted in another major scandal. Keep in mind, materials hacked. Moreover, there's no evidence of Russian involvement. Laptop, U.S. intelligence quickly rejected Russian disinformation claim. However, Baker insisted that there was reasonable assumption that Russians were behind another major scandal. Faced with a major scandal implicating Joe Biden and the corrupt selling of access to foreign figures, including some foreign intelligence associations, Baker's natural default was to kill the story and to stop others from sharing the allegations. The released documents may show why Twitter was so eager to hire Baker despite his role in Russian collusion controversies. What would likely have been liability for most companies seemed an actual draw for Twitter. For censors and political operatives in Twitter, Baker likely seemed to be a made man for a company committed to systemic censorship. He'd be working with chief legal officer at the company, Vijaya Gandhi, who functioned as the company's chief censor. Gandhi was widely reviled by free speech advocates for her dismissal. I got no use for any of these people. These people are all scum. Not expectedly, Gandhi and Baker would play prominent roles in the suppression of Hunter Biden's scandal. There was hardly a need. It's all revenge porn, really. There was hardly a need to round up the usual suspects in suppression of the scandal when Musk took over the company. Both lawyers swatted down internal misgivings to bury a story that could have well made the difference in a close election. It wasn't all that close, though. It wasn't all that close. Yeah, 10% where? It is striking how many figures and institutions involved in Russian collusion claims are within 6 degrees of James Baker. Not only did Baker work closely with fired FBI Director James Comey and other key figures at the Justice Department, but he was an acquaintance of key Clinton figures like Sussman, who pushed the false collusion allegations. And so again, this all comes back to Hillary Clinton. He was also hired by the Brookings Institution. He was also a curious Bacon-like role in origins and development of false Russian collusion allegations. We were all warned not to put our eggs in that basket, though. None of these means that Baker was the driving force of the scandals. And here, none of these means that Baker was the driving force of the scandals. So you pretty much you bury this at the bottom of the article. To the contrary, Baker earned his bones in Washington as a facilitator, a reliable ally when it came to the business of the Beltway. It's hardly surprised that Baker found a home at Twitter where caution was always warranted in dealing with potentially damaging stories for Democratic interests. So again, I ain't leaving, just saying bye to Senior Sticks. Okay. So again, we put this part at the bottom here. But again, so we're seeing again. Now this is again moving the goalposts. Well, James Baker, he wasn't part. Well, he wasn't the part of the scandal. No, he's the scandal. Well, maybe he wasn't part of the scandal.
Can you imagine if Jean-Pierre, whatever her name is, that black lesbian diversity vagina that they have, if she had gone to Twitter to suppress something or to try and share something to smear Joe's opponent right now while she's sitting as Secretary of the Press.
It's amazing to see Western conservatives becoming so contrarian, just like Democrats. Well, it's because I'm going to tell you, Razvan. Okay, listen. I'm going to tell you something, Razvan. That goes back to 1994 and Newt Gingrich. With the new deal for the contract with America, Newt Gingrich was pretty much opposing everything Bill Clinton did, and he was trying to jockey himself into the Speaker of the House role so that he can make an eventual run at president. Now, this whole thing about that, I mean, they never really broke out of that mindset. They had to be against everything that the Democrats are for. Even with the healthcare law, the Affordable Care Act, the Democrats started mistakenly. It was a bad move on their part. They should have started with. They should have just said single payer. I'm telling you, they should have just said single payer. We're gonna establish a national health system, just like the UK. And we're going to, National Health Service like the UK, or we're going to have single payer. We're going to have a billing department. We're going to have for all in each state, for everybody. We're going to do single payer, yada, yada, yada. Okay. They came out with the compromise position and thinking that something was, the Republicans or conservatives or the Freedom Caucus, whomever the conservatives were at the time, they thought that, we're going to put this out there, and then they're going to have to counter with something better. The only thing that would have been better was going to be single payer. So they got backed into a corner. Where it was going to be, well, you know what? We can't support single payer because we have all these people from the health insurance lobby. They're paying us big bucks. So we're going to support nothing. And we're just going to be against everything. We're just going to be against no matter what this administration proposes. So that was the thing. They were just for nothing. And then that whole sham, repeal and replace. Oh yeah, we'll repeal the ACA and replace it later. They were never going to replace it with anything. Never. They were never going to replace it with anything. And they were still in a situation where they were saying, well, what's your proposal? Yeah, we'll get to it. And then finally, in 2017, when they were on the eve of repealing the Affordable Care Act, they finally proposed a healthcare plan. The plan was, don't get sick. If you get sick, please die quickly and be a cheap funeral. Paul Ryan, that jackass, he designs a plan that was deliberately designed to fail. So that's where we are now. And it's been like that for years. Anybody with any modicum of sense or compassion or any kind of sense of duty or country, that's all been drummed out of the current Republican Party. You guys got ripped off with Obamacare. Yeah, we did. I can fill a whole hour on that. Because let me tell you something. We still have, I think, 23 million? I think we still have like 50 million people without health insurance. People in this country die at a rate of $45,000 a year because they don't have any health insurance. They can't get adequate care. 45,000 people a year die in this country from a lack of health care. You have health care.
I would have health care And I'm kind of insulted by the attitude that people have, that they can kind of just come in and assume that because you disagree on one thing, your entire position on everything, just to neener or be mad about it. Like, that's just not helpful. That's not relevant to any conversation.
My whole thing is, say, listen, 45, like I said, 45,000 people a year die because they have no health insurance. If Stockton, California, or Toledo, Ohio, or East Haven, Connecticut, all places with a population of 45,000, if they just vanished, if the entire population just vanished off the face of the earth of a town, or if a town just went up in smoke, wouldn't we want to know why? Wouldn't we want to stop it? We have healthcare, but it's pretty bad. Well, you know what? I just want the baseline. The only thing you don't have is dental, and a guy had to pay out the ass for a tooth recently. So I feel you there. But this again comes back to the whole thing of you have one party who is trying to govern, just haphazardly trying to.
Democrats are trying to govern, though. I disagree that they're trying to govern.
There are people within the party that are trying to govern. I'm trying to govern. I don't think the whole party's trying to govern because a lot of them are just
defending them too much. And
I am trying. Well, you know what?
I don't think they're worth defending. I don't think the Democrats are worth defending.
You know what?
The Republicans are worth cheering for.
At the same time, this is what we have. This is the best. This is what we got. And until we can drag the rest of them along with us, this is what we have to deal with. But again, we are in a situation now where you're going to have one party is going to attempt to pass some sort of legislation, and then you have another party that is against it, and they are going on these witch hunts, and that's what this is. This is a witch hunt now.
Mm-hmm. It's revenge. It's literally the same as going after Trump from Russiagate.
Biden's the best we got. And you know what?
No. They said that. Why are you putting words in our mouths?
See, okay, this is
the NBC shit.
All right. Okay. Listen. As far as Biden being the best guy, I was a Bernie Sanders voter. Okay, I wanted Bernie Sanders.
Do you think we get the best we've got out there?
We have, and even like if you take a look at this country, there's 350 million people in this country, and I'm saying these are the two guys we have running for president. Really?
Yeah, I have literally nobody I could vote for in this midterm that I was willing to stand there in line another one more minute for. There's like, that's the thing. It's like just the
picture
idea, the idea of the arguments. Like, just stop putting words in people's mouths, Razvan. You really got to.
Okay. But the whole idea, like I said, these are the people that are allowed to run. And as Jake,
not even up to us. It's really not.
Bernie bro, that explains much. It does. Listen, there's nothing wrong with taking a look at what works in somewhere else and wanting that here. Like I said, I've been to Denmark, I've been to Norway, I've been to Sweden, I've been to the UK, I've been to Italy, I've been to Canada. I've been to several. I've been to those are the 6 countries I've been to. And I'm saying I had a layover in Finland. I was about 45 minutes. Layover in the Netherlands for about maybe an hour and a half. Fuck you again, Rob. Bernie Sanders said in the 80s, the bread lines are good. Bread lines as a child starting with 3 a.m. Did he say bread lines are good? Did he say bread lines are good?
See, again, people, you can't have one disagreeable opinion without you assuming everybody's entire position. And that is exactly the NPC part of politics that I can't stand. People assuming people's position on everything.
Compilation video circulating social media claims to show a side of Bernie Sanders doesn't want you to see. Video includes clips of Sanders making unsavory statements about racial stereotypes, saying Medicaid would cause bankruptcy and praising the Soviet Union, among other things. Reuters broke down the statements in different clips of Sanders, included most widely shared video, which lasts 5 minutes, 24 seconds. With an assessment of each clip, some versions of the video have different order, selection of clips. Timestamps included below with popular version of the clip. example of which can be seen here. Overall, the verdict video compilation is partly false and includes authentic footage of Bernie Sanders, much of it from the show Bernie Speaks with the Community, a TV program that Sanders, then Mayor of Burlington, held from 1986 to 88. Contrary to what the video title claims, some of the footage is publicly available. Several of the videos edited are edited in a way that decontextualizes Sanders' remarks, such as the first clip discussing stereotypes. Others are faithful representations of his comments. It is worth noting that some of the footage has been cropped into closer shot and color edited, this making it harder to find the original version.
Should try that camera.
Yeah, okay, I will. 0 to 26, 7 seconds. Written claim doesn't want you to see these newly uncovered videos and turn the sound up. Video transcription. Is that black people smell? What about Jewish people? What about their thing? How are they different than other people? Cut. Their religious beliefs were different, but also they were greedy, selfish people. Also had strange sexual habits, so on and so on. That sounds like...
The very person complaining that they're dividing you for everything is literally finding anything
What does everyone know about the Irish? They get into fights because they are drunk. All Irish people do is drink. That's Irish. Cut. Italians are gangsters, and the Irish are drunk, and Jews are greedy, and black people smell, okay? This video is cropped and taken out of context. It is made also to appear that the claims made by Sanders are his opinions. In reality, he was giving a talk to middle school students about many topics in this part of the session about stereotypes. The original lecture is publicly available here, with this talk about stereotypes starting 30 minutes into the video. Facebook clip cuts out key parts of what Sanders has actually told students, including the key context to indicate he was talking about perceived stereotypes in society, not his own points of view. The video is misleadingly cropped to make it seem like Sanders holds prejudice towards the groups he mentioned in his talk, when he actually is talking about the danger of stereotypes, how they change over time. Verdict, Sanders taking, Medicare for all would bankrupt the country. We expanded Medicaid and everybody. If everybody had Medicaid in Audible, we'd be spending an astronomical sum that we would bankrupt the nation. A longer version of this clip visual here. A wider context of Sanders' interview he's asking, how can the U.S. implement health care for all without bankrupting the country? In 1987, he says, at least as I see it, and I'm not an expert on this, but this is how I see it. The number one, you want to guarantee that all people have access to health care as you do in Canada. But I think we understand that is that unless we change the funding system and control the mechanisms in this country to do that, for example, if we expand Medicaid, if everybody had Medicaid and Audible, we would be spending such an astronomical sum that we would bankrupt the nation. So maybe you want to talk a bit about that. Why in Canada, under their national health system, you can have access for all people, and yet per capita, it is still less expensive than the United States. 39 to 50, written claim, Bernie endorses breadlines. Here we go. Video transcription. It's funny, sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get food and the poor starve to death. This clip is taken from a press conference in 1985, viewable when Bernie Sanders was mayor of Burlington. In this encounter, Sanders, who had just returned from Nicaragua, discussed his observations and comments on this trip. Let me share this article.
So Soviet Union is better than poor-ass Nicaragua and Ethiopia. I agree. Red lines are better than starving to death.
This clip is taken from, the clip was cut and taken out of context to make it seem like Sanders endorses breadlines. But he was actually talking about poverty in Central America and how, from his point of view, the public policy of Nicaragua back then had saved people from starving to death. The passage can be found in the minute 2020 after a reporter asked him what the most needed resource in Nicaragua was. Sanders' answer was, one aspect, what is going on in Nicaragua, and again, what has to be understood is the economic problems of Nicaragua are not unique in Central America or the third world. In fact, as poor as Nicaragua is, one of the nice things I saw is that as a result of government policy, direct government policy in terms of distribution of food, people are not hungry by and large. I think it's fair to say, it's funny. Sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is, that people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get the food and the poor starve to death. In Nicaragua, people are not starving to death. Verdict: the clip is authentic, but the comment in full reveals an endorsement of breadlines as a mean to avoid starvation in very poor nations. So that's where that comes from. Rob, for sake, just show the YouTube clip. Stop fact checking.
Well, you need to fact check.
Well, you need to fact check because I need to fact check because because the clips are taken out of context. Ooh, look, Bernie endorses breadlines. I'm like, look, that's not the whole.
Then Trump called Nazis fine people. Then Trump,
stuck in the 70s socialism flower power bullshit. No, I'm not stuck in 70s flower power BS.
Fine, then
I want my government to provide basic services. That's the whole point. That is why you pay taxes. So that you are provided basic services. I don't know how we got to this point.
Because Roswell wants to own you on a point, and he wants to.
Where's that donut?
You want it?
I'm gonna turn on my camera. I'm gonna try a donut here. So, like I said, I want my government to provide basic services. I'm not. Listen, here's the thing.
I'd rather fact check it than have.
Yeah, I'd rather fact check than have bad information go out.
Yeah, then be mad.
Here's my thing. Stop Medicare for all. No, I'm not going to stop Medicare for all. I want Medicare for all. You know why? Because it's going to be better for a lot of people than what we have now. I mean, there are people that don't have health care. Huh? Yeah, I'll have this one. Yeah, I'm just going to have a bite. Okay. I mean, listen, we have right now, again, we have 45,000 people dying in America every year because they don't have access to basic care. You see poor people. Listen, where I'm from, you see poor people in the ER with in all kinds, and it's terrible. Everybody, the poor people are in the ER because that is their family doctor. They wait so long to get care that by the time they end up in the ER, for many, it's too little, too late. So yeah, I want Medicare for all. I want people to have basic care.
I want to have the support and the viewership of YouTube where I can just rely on ad revenue.
Any cat can today. But the cat is actually resting.
Him sleep all day.
Him sleeping. This is him sleeping. So move the chair. There he is. There he is.
Yeah, one's sleeping too.
The other one's sleeping. One of them was sleeping down there. He's underneath there. They're knuckleheads. So there's the kitty cams.
Here's your donut cam.
Okay, so okay. So nice cat though. Thank you. You cannot be a strong state to care some poor ones without medical competition. Well, we have medical competition right now. We have that right now, and it's not working. It doesn't work. Free market in terms of medical care does not work. Well, you're not going to get health care with the Democrats and Republicans if both parties get their election campaigns funded from big pharma, which is why the establishment hates Trump. Well, no, the establishment. No, listen, Trump just turned out to be the establishment. I mean, we were
literally part of it.
Yeah, he's part. I mean, he turned out to be the biggest. He hired all the establishment people, and he just turned into another establishment Republican. That's all that happened under him. He came in with the promise, oh yeah, we're gonna take care of everybody, health, and then he never delivered on it. And then he just delegated it to people like Paul Ryan, who just wanted to tear the whole thing down. So okay, well anyway, you have fascist Medicare, state and companies together. Well, and listen, we can have a system. We don't have to have a complete single payer. Well, that's Alex Ashkin. That was Trump's MO: overpromise, underdeliver. He overpromised and underdelivered on everything. So listen. I've been going on for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up here. I listen. Don't take it personally. We may disagree, but you know what? I don't hold it against anybody. Okay, that's what I want to leave you with. Just because I may disagree with you doesn't mean I dislike you or anybody. Listen. I value you. People could be spending time with anybody. You chose to spend it with me. If it weren't for that, I'd be talking to the air. I'd be shouting into the void. So everyone, I appreciate you coming, listening, putting up with my BS. I hope I responded to you in a respectful manner. And if I didn't, then I'm sorry. I'll try to make it up to you on some other way. But I'm going to leave everybody with this. Now, there's a place called Pink Box Donuts. And now I just got like a half a dozen the other day. Now I say half a dozen. That doesn't sound like, no, these are actually gourmet donuts. These are very good donuts. Now I got something here. They got the whole lineup for Christmas. So now you can take a look. This is their Grinch donut. It doesn't look like a Grinch. That's their Grinch donut. This is a donut, not a cronut, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's their filling in it. Yeah, it's got filling in it. Now I'm going to try this right now, and I'm going to give you my verdict. But this is they had the Star David one. I'm not Jewish, but I got the Star David because my name's Shlomo. That was eaten by someone else. So Razman, don't say, oh fuck Bernie Bros. Okay, well, that's how you feel, man. What can I tell you?
He just feels however.
Yeah, it does. It's funny. It's a funny Grinch donut. Yeah. So I'm going to try. It's got an M&M here for the tongue. It's got a couple of green. Might be frosting. I think it's frosting. All right. Now I'm going to try this right now. Okay. Ready? This is without coffee or anything. Did the Grinch donut eat Christmas donut? Might have. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. There we go. That's good donut. That's good Grinch right there.
Is it cream or custard?
It's cream. It's like chocolate cream inside. Oh. Okay, I'm going to have another bite. That's good donut. Okay, everybody, the Grinch donut. Pink Box Donuts. That's some good shit. I wouldn't advise something that's green stuck between my teeth. Probably the frosting. Listen, I wouldn't advise eating these every day, but then they'd have donuts with crunky bits. I gotta get more crunky bits in my life. Okay, everybody, I don't advise having these every day, but once in a while, treat yourself to a donut. And what's the worst that can happen? Wash down with a little coffee, So there you go. There's your Grinch donut, or at least there's a half a Grinch donut. I mean, they have a little more bite. Okay. And that's about all the Grinch donut I can handle right now. Everybody, listen. Everybody, like you said, don't take anything personally. We could disagree without being disagreeable. And I thank you, everybody, for showing up today for about an hour. It's been an hour and a half. We need new donut policy in Australia when you take over. I'll bring Pink Box with me. And Voodoo Donuts. You see, my double chins are actually coming in because of that. Everybody, thank you for spending a little time with me. Peace until the next war. I know we're doing what the you want to do what the upstream thing?
Some stream. I'll do some stream. I don't know what.
Okay, well, I'm trying to sign off. Everybody, have a good rest of your day. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you next time.